All right, I'm actually gonna mix my metaphors here and call an audible for this last question.
I mean, I've used about 8 different metaphors throughout this podcast, so I don't think anybody's going to fault you for mixing your metaphors.
And I'm also switching sports.
Oh.
Just because I want to, and because I feel like anybody watching this podcast is probably a Central Texas sports fan, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you guys know that LeRoy Coleman at University passed away over the weekend. We got the news actually while we were at that Baylor men's basketball game. Chad wrote an excellent obituary on LeRoy, and just wanted to give y'all.
Your column was really good too. I just read it a few minutes ago.
Thank you. Just wanted to give y'all an opportunity maybe to speak to what LeRoy meant to Central Texas football, you personally, I mean, pretty stand-up guy.
Yeah, obviously I've known him for many years. About the nicest coach you'd ever want to meet. Always made you feel welcome when you went over there. You call him on the phone. Yeah, how you doing, John? I mean, it's just like that with everybody. And he was like that, until the end, whether he was the head coach at University or an assistant at la-vega. And I always found it interesting that even after his great run at University, he still wanted to coach. And of course, Coach Hyde was happy to have him. Yeah, just really just one of the all-time just best coaches and best people too.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you used, breath of fresh air. I mean, he was just a really refreshing guy to see and get to talk to, from time to time when you just saw him around town and when you were working on a story. John, I think you did a story maybe in 2020 about his 50th year of coaching. Mm-hmm. He had reached 50 years in coaching. And then of course, during his 51st or 52nd season, this past fall, when Waco ISD inducted him in their Athletic Hall of Fame, I was able to do that story, and I used quotes from that story that I gathered for it, and actually didn't use in the story. I was able to use in the story that ran on Sunday, and then Brice used a couple of those, but they all just really spoke to a lifetime of coaching because he wanted to do it. I mean, what did they say? Like if you have a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. But I felt like LeRoy almost kind of transcended that, like. That was what he wanted to be doing, and it just so happened that they paid him.
Right. He'd be doing it anyway. Yeah, and here's the other thing that I really didn't get into much in my column, but I mean, we both, Chad, your story and my column had mentions of his success as a coach, but I think in the lens of hindsight, what he did at University resonates even deeper, because if you look at what University has done since then, and one of the reasons I really didn't put it in my column is I'm not trying to throw any of these other coaches who followed LeRoy Coleman under the bus, but the fact is they've struggled mightily to win games ever since LeRoy Coleman left University. In terms of making the playoffs, they had obviously a long losing streak there that they had to break, like several seasons. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. And it's not just like that these coaches aren't good coaches or anything like that. But to me, it really does, when you look back at what he accomplished at University with, not always the most talent. Obviously they had some talent, but it really, his record is pretty impressive. The further away we get from it.
How many multiple high school ISDs out there do you see more than one school, getting it done? And LeRoy basically was there the same 2 decades or 3 decades that Johnny Tusa was at Waco High. And they both got it done with the guys that were coming to their school. And that says a lot for both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, certainly he'll be missed by so many, and all of us included. And just continued prayers for his family. Obviously they went into coaching too, and it'll be I'm sure a moving, touching service on Saturday. And so anyway, just wanted to kind of close with that because I know he's been on all of our thoughts for sure.
Oh yeah.